Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Group podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington, and we are back for another film review. Today, we are going to take a look at Star Trek Section 31, available on Paramount Plus. IMDb gave this film a 4.1. What do you think about the 4.1?
That's high.
That's way
so
too high.
That's way too high.
Crazy high, yo. Too. I mean, wow.
This movie was a disaster.
Let me
And
tell
here's
you
the thing,
something.
like, I'm a casual in Star Trek, right?
Okay.
I'm a casual. I did watch The Next Generation. I watched the original Star Trek, and I've seen Voyager and Deep Space Nine. So I know it doesn't sound like a casual, but like I'm not deep into the lore. I more so just watch the show because I like spaceships and that kind of stuff. And I was like, Star Trek's cool. So I don't know who everybody is as far as like the lore for who's the admiral now and who's the whatever. So when we were watching Picard, I know who Picard is, like, but like everybody else, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I was indifferent to it because I like Star Wars over Star Trek. I'll say that. I was one of those people. So like I'm familiar with Star Trek. I have put time and effort into Star Trek, but I'm not as familiar as I am with like Star Wars or whatever. But I know enough to know this is not Star Trek. That's what I know.
This is, I mean, okay, so take these elements, right? Section 31, control. Yes. I'm even going to throw in a Daystrom station, right?
Yes.
Dude.
All things I know. I've heard of all these things.
Right. So check this out. So Section 31 is like, you know, they're supposed to be the CIA MI6 on steroids, right?
Yes. I've seen them in action doing stuff in all the shows.
Right. They are serious. This is Section 31 is serious, dude. Straight up serious. Yeah, there's no comedy. There's no goofiness. There's nothing like that, right?
Yeah.
And then you have control. And then again, you know, control control Section 31, you know. Dude, they're the ones who grab all the stuff and place it in a Daystrom station. Daystrom station was created for Section 31, control all this sort of stuff, right? And so now you have this device that they're trying to get, you know, and it's just like, I'm like, you mean to tell me that, first of all, Section 31 didn't already put this in Daystrom station? This thing is still floating around?
It's just like, what I'm saying. They would have black bagged this person already and put them in the thing.
Come on, dude.
Because they're based on how we've experienced them in the shows and stuff. Section 31 is very competent, and you know that's one of the big things for me watching movies. I need people competent, and so Section 31, the actual program, would have not allowed this thing to get this far in the first place. That's why, you know, the other Star Trek stuff can deal with territorial stuff with other federations and other people. And they're just doing basic stuff because Section 31 exists and they're black bagging things already behind the scenes. And so they give the impression that we're highly competent. We don't have a ragtag group of misfits that don't fit together and don't have any purpose. Because this is the thing. When you make a caper movie like this, right? Everybody's supposed to do a thing. Like you have the guy, he's a jewel thief. And he's going to be the guy who's going to get to the thing. And then the girl, she picks locks. And she's the one that's going to open the thing for you. And like everybody does a job, right? Yeah. And this thing, it was just a group of people just hanging out. Just chilling. Just what are they there for?
Yeah, exactly. You know, if you you know, in Discovery, Section 31 was trying to destroy they were trying to destroy Starfleet. I mean, dude, they were trying to destroy Starfleet, Section 31. These are like serious people, right? And if you look at Discovery and the way Philippa Georgia was like portrayed in that joint, she was like, oh my goodness, this is, what's going on, right? When I heard Section 31 was going to be released, I was super excited because I know what Section 31 is, right? And so I'm just like, and then Philippa Georgia is in it, like, you know, Michelle Yeoh. I was like, oh, this is going to be crazy, right? And then it's so weird that, you know, it's almost like taking one of the Jason Bourne movies, right? And then making that into like a slapstick comedy. You know, that's how goofy it was. You know, I'm just
sideshow comedy.
Oh, so here's the thing, right?
On banana peels.
The first 10 was crazy, right?
Yeah,
This,
when it started, and you're talking about her family and everything like that,
yeah,
I was like, okay, where's this going?
she
I was like, okay,
she killed her
this is
family,
dark.
and I was like, yo, I'm in it. I'm in.
Well, to me, because I've heard about this movie was supposed to come out a bunch of years ago. Like it didn't just happen yesterday. This is supposed to be out for a while, and it got hit with the rewrites and studio meddlings, and and they're like, "Yo, fix this, change this, do that." It's like
Yeah,
that, a lot of that. So like that's what you could tell. Because my biggest issue, more than anything else, with this movie wasn't the plot or the storyline or anything like that. It was the tone. Because 5 minutes they're doing karate kicks, and the next thing you know, they're laughing about something dumb, like this guy, how small this guy is. That's the joke. I'm like,
yeah.
this is stupid. Because
And then,
from my interpretation of Star Trek is it's a serious thing talking about serious matters on a global, giant, beyond global scale. You know, we're talking universal scale about serious matters that affect people's lives
not
today.
here.
But like on a on a larger scale, what happens if it was a planet rather than just a country
Yeah.
or this group of people here in this area? So
Hmm.
like you're asking big questions. There was no big questions asked in this show. This show was, I wouldn't even say a vanity project, because it seems like it started like, if you watch the first couple of minutes, it feels like it starts off like this is super serious. We're gonna get
Yeah.
into some real topics,
Hmm.
and then it falls down a slide of banana peels. It's I don't know what this is.
Dude.
I can't wrap my head around what is this.
Here, you know what? Okay, so two things. I knew, okay, the first 10, I was like, I'm in, right? And then
Mm,
once they all got together and started explaining the mission, right? Yo, it
mm,
took them 20 minutes of the film to explain the
mm.
mission, right? I mean, if you really
Yeah,
think about
I
it,
think this was supposed to be a TV show. I don't think it was supposed to be a movie.
dude, you know what? It is a TV movie. It was a TV movie. I mean, if you look at
You know
it,
what I
I'm
mean?
just
It
like,
was. I think this was supposed to have like 8 or 10 episodes, and that's why it was dragging some areas, and like it just sped up and then went slow. Sped because it's supposed to be a TV show. It's 8 episodes or 10 episodes. That's what
so
it looks like.
so this is going to be almost like a franchise, almost like the Citadel, where you're going to have different Citadels, this, that, and the other,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. I think that's what
So,
they're trying to do.
right, because like at the end, Jamie Lee Curtis, who's Control, she's Control. You never saw Control. I've never ever
Mhm.
ever seen I was never able to put a face on Control. Control
You're
is in
not
the
supposed
shadows.
to.
They're in the
Didn't
shadows.
Trump
Now we
control
know
like an
it's
AI
Jamie.
or something in the background?
Yeah, but the thing about it, you don't see the AI, obviously, and it's just like now I'm
For a
seeing
reason.
Control, and I'm just like, so here's the other thing. So they took 15 to
Mhm,
20 minutes just to explain the mission, right? The
mhm,
movie, two things happened here in this movie.
mhm,
When I saw that it was only an hour and 35 minutes, I was like, okay, this is section 31. They need an hour and
mhm,
35 minutes of like pure like excitement, just like swissing stuff up the whole nine. So I was like, okay, that's a
mhm.
good thing, right? But then when I saw that, what's old boy's name? When I saw that Sam Richardson was in this film, I said, okay, you're going to get either the semi-serious Sam Richardson or the
Or
slapstick comedy,
slapstick comedy.
and
Yeah,
that's what we
that was what I
got.
said.
And
That's
it's just
exactly what
like,
I said.
I mean, the only time I can remember like slapstick comedy was when, there was an episode of it happened in Next Generation and also like Discovery where
Mhm.
something happened where the ship, like everyone on the ship was just like laughing all the time, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like it was like it was a silly story, but it was a box story that didn't affect the plot of what they were doing for the whole show. It was just like here's a thing. We need 22 episodes. Here's one episode that's dumb. Don't worry about it. It's not gonna affect anything. If you skip it, you're not gonna miss anything. Don't worry about
Hmm.
it. That's what that normally is.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take away from the point of what the rest of the thing is. I don't know. Like I've seen enough Star Trek to know this is not Star Trek,
No.
and
Mm-mm.
this to me it felt like it was written by people who don't care about Star Trek or not, they don't know anything about Star Trek. That's what it seems like,
Oh.
because
Hmm.
it had this weird vibe of we're trying to be Mission Impossible and a Mission Impossible buddy comedy in space. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I'm like, well, this is not what Section 31 is. Like Section 30, if you had a serious thing, Section 31 black bagging something crazy, and it goes wrong, I would have been like, all right, I'm in. Let's
Yeah.
go. Like,
Right.
you guys solve it. You got 20 minutes to do it. You had 2 days to go fix this thing that went horribly wrong. And then people they think that you sold out the agency or whatever, like that standard CIA FBI stuff. Fair, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be consistent with the brand that you're using it in, right?
But here's the
And
thing.
this is not Star Trek.
No, here's the thing. Like the creator of Star Trek, his son was a consultant. Gene Roddenberry's son was a consultant on the show, right? On this film.
Roddenberry's family. I don't know, man. I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know.
The other thing
I know his wife did a bunch of stuff with him. She's the voice of the computer. Like I know that. I know enough about Star Trek to know these things. I don't know what this is. All right.
This is not Section 31. And the other thing is Michelle Yeoh, she's also an executive. She's also an executive producer on here. I was really surprised. I was really surprised that Michelle Yeoh actually did a project like this. I was really surprised. I mean, I know that she did Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was sort of trippy and a little bit of slapstick, right?
But that's what it's supposed to be. It's not a canon. It's not an IP based on everything everybody knows.
Right.
It's a brand new movie, and they're having fun with the ideas of different universes. Okay, cool. Star Trek is Star Trek. You can't use the brand and then throw this other thing out there of whatever this silly thing. Wow. Why you spend so much time in the club? Like this, a lot of the scenes, like the set pieces and the locations they were at, it was like, we don't have any money. All right, we're gonna green screen this mofo.
Oh my goodness!
And don't worry about it, because you could have done stuff in a building and have a couple of ships, in spaceship, whatever, and that. But this is Section 31. And I'm like, okay, all right. They got to break into this thing, the high security thing. They got this big impossible bomb that's gonna blow up. Okay. All right, what is this? What are those?
Check this out. Picard Picard season 3, episode 7, Surrender. Right, that was when Vadic came on the ship and they were trying to get off the ship. Right,
31. When you go into the thing, that's Section 31.
Exactly. So I'm just like, yo, that episode was like fire, 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 fire. Right, that one episode blew this like movie away, and I'm just like, wow, this is crazy, right? And here's the other thing, right? So there was like, okay, so they took 15, 20 minutes just to explain the mission. And then after that, there was really think about it, about an hour of walking and talking. This is an hour and 35-minute movie. It was an hour of walking and talking. Michelle Yeoh put her name on this joint. This movie was completely garbage, dude. I was just like, I'm totally disappointed because it's Star Trek.
Yeah.
Right? And they pushed back Strange New World just to like promote this. They cut Discovery short just to start doing Section 31 because it's going to be like mini movies, so opposed to like a series of 10 episodes, they're going to give you like a franchise of like maybe 10 different short movies. And I'm just like, they have to get better. Hopefully, this is what they need to do. Because Olatunde, whatever his name is, that the black guy, he actually directed this joint here, right?
Yeah.
They need okay, they're like, okay, you know what? Let's go get the team from season 3 of Picard. Let's bring them on to this like series, right?
Yes.
Let's do that, right? Because right now, I'm going through the credits and I'm like, there's no one from Picard or Discovery. I'm like, where are these people, right? This joint was. I
wrote this. There's some ghostwriters on this movie that just like, let's put something like this in there. Let's see what happens if they notice it. No, they didn't notice it. Keep doing it.
AI.
Somebody sabotaging this thing is like, you're not gonna take away my budget for my movies coming up.
Wow,
we're gonna fix this. That's what that was. Like, this seems like sabotage. That's what I'll put it like.
And here's the thing, right? And you have all the elements. First of all, they were like, yo, you got to go find Philippa, right? She's she's a part of she rules the Terran Empire, which is in a parallel universe. Stop there. Start with that.
Yeah.
The
You have
Terran
all these
universe is in a
topics.
parallel universe. You got to go find Philippa in this like parallel universe. How about that?
That would have been good.
Yeah.
That would have been good. Like I'm just saying, like you utilize the elements of the sci-fi Star Trek universe, and they didn't do any of that. You know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't any special gadgets. They're like, oh my god, only Section 31 would have this. Like nothing happened that from these agents that you would say, well, we got to put the best and the
No.
brightest on this mission.
Mhm.
We need 18 Jason Bournes to go solve this riddle. Like you didn't do that. You're like, let's get some comedians and some people acting weird to go solve this riddle.
Yeah.
Why would a serious agency do that? Why would you put these people together to do that? That doesn't make any sense.
And
Like I'm saying, like this is a
yeah.
world-ending type thing here.
Wow.
That this whole universe is gonna get caved in if we don't do it.
Right.
Let's get these guys to gonna ham it up. Like no, they would.
And
This is the thing. You would look at these types of people on the sheet and be like, deny,
yeah.
boom, deny, get out of here, deny.
Right.
That's what happened.
How about okay? So a couple things, right? One, the guy in a mech suit. Like really, a mech suit? Really, a mech suit? Come on.
But here's the thing, and this goes back to what I originally said. When you're doing a caper movie like this, everybody has to have a role. And they never explain what their roles were. Why are they there? You have a shapeshifter. Why is that person there? Do you need a shapeshifter? Like, you need to break in some kind of security where you got to change someone, pretend like you're the president of something? Like, do you need that? Like,
yeah.
Why are these people there? Like, she just named when she named off who was there and how she knew they were agents. I was like, oh, this is gonna be bad.
Oh.
And then from the music alone, I was like, oh no.
Okay, you know how I feel about serious sci-fi and today's music and serious sci-fi movies or TV series. It's not going to work. First of all, it took me 2 hours to watch it. I kept falling asleep, right?
I broke this in half, man. I normally watch through Wednesday. Broke this in half.
The other thing
my mind was like, I can't do this right now.
When I saw the Vulcan laughing, I was like, okay, we're going in a totally different direction here.
No, everybody there would be like, oh no, that guy's an Asian.
Right.
That dude's a Fed. Like, don't trust that dude. He's laughing.
Now,
right?
Now here's the thing, right? The little sort of like alien that was like in its own control room and flying around. Remember that joint, the little small joint?
Yeah.
That was a really interesting concept. But why did the alien have to have like just a comic twist to it though?
Yes. If it was serious, that would have made more sense, or at least add credence to like the situation, because the situation is absurd. So you can't have something absurd and then comical at the same time. Right. You have to be like, we got to mix this up so that you can accept this thing. Because when you making all the jokes and crying about the stuff, I couldn't accept it. I was like, oh, this is dumb. Like first thing in my mind was like, oh, this is dumb. Rather than
Fizz.
like, oh, this is the interesting
That's his
thing.
name, Fizz, and Zepp was the guy with the mech suit. So Fizz. So the other thing is this: Fizz is
guy.
Yeah, his name is Zepp. The Fizz is like he's beaming away. I'm like, okay, there's a ship somewhere if this guy can easily beam away, right? I'm just like, why isn't all this stuff being explained, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
because of the cuts and the edits, they didn't have time. Like they probably had an explanation because this was supposed to be 10 episodes, and they're like, no, we don't have time for that. Cut this out. Like, just go. We got to shave this thing to an hour 30. That's all we got.
Yeah,
shave it. Shave everything.
The
cutting room floor of this movie's got to be crazy.
Oh man, listen. I think that this is what's going to happen because I think that this movie in the Star Trek franchise was a travesty, right? I mean, it's just, come on, like just call it what it is, right? So this is what they're going to do. And this is what they did with Picard after the second season, right?
Mm-hmm.
They sat on it. They started reading reviews. They started watching reviews, and they were like, dude, we screwed up, right?
Yes.
And they were like, we screwed up. We got to get season 3 right. Hopefully someone is listening, someone is watching all this stuff about like the reviews about Section 31. They got to come back to the drawing board and like, again, bring some of those folks from Discovery, from Strange New World, and also from like Picard season 3. Bring them on. You need, the thing about the Star Trek franchise is all of these people who have done really great, projects within this franchise, they understand it. Now you have to bring them back to continually build the franchise. I don't know where this crew came from, dude, at all.
I have no idea, man. This is how bad this movie was. I wasn't interested in seeing who wrote it.
No.
I normally, because you were watching a movie, I'm like, oh, dude, who wrote this? I wonder what else they did. I was like, I'm good. I don't need to know who did this. Let me mark this out of my misery and forget about this thing existing. Because how can you build a franchise and other projects
Yeah.
around this? Why would you do it this way?
I mean,
This should not be. This is for the first mistake was making this Mission Impossible. That's your first mistake. Like that's not like you okay. I want to be like the purist of because I'm not a Star Trek person. Like I'm casual, all right. But like Star Trek is not Mission Impossible.
no.
Star Trek is not Game of Thrones. Star Trek
Yeah.
is not like you know what I'm saying. Like Star Trek is Star Trek. It's been around long enough with hundreds of thousands of hours of content to draw from. We're talking shows that went for 7 seasons.
Yeah.
We have
7, 8 years.
seasons.
Exactly.
You have Next Generation. You have Deep Space Nine. You have
Voyager.
All of these
Yeah.
guys went a long time. Tons of shows to draw from, including the original movies and the Next Generation movies.
Yeah.
You have hours of content, right?
And then Discovery with Philippa Georgia appeared.
I'm not even including Discovery. That's what I'm saying. This is how big this franchise is for you to go and be like Mission Impossible, but in space. That's absurd and insane, based on all the hours of all this stuff. Because you could take. Here's the thing: you have box episodes in Star Trek where like something crazy happened, or is a unique take on something. You could have gone there. You're like, nah, we don't need that. We're gonna do this other thing. And I don't know why. That's the part that doesn't make sense to me. Just as a casual, I don't know why. Because this doesn't fit anything I know about what Star Trek is.
Not at all.
And Star Trek fans are looking at this like, what the hell? What is this?
Complete disappointment.
I'm not excited about this thing. If you made another Section 31 movie or TV show, I probably wouldn't watch it at this point.
It better be
based on this.
And here's the thing: like, if Section 31 is going to be a franchise within a franchise, this is what you gave us for the first one. I'm like, wow. So let me ask you this here, before we get out of here. So, was there anything positive about this film?
I mean, like how they shot it was interesting, but they didn't have a budget for it, so like they were cutting corners. But like, I thought it looked okay
visually.
Like,
you thought it looked good?
Visually, I thought it looked okay. Like special effects are all right because it's a TV movie, and then Paramount don't want to spend that much money on it, rightfully so. But like visually, I thought it was okay. But I think a good aspect of it was they had good actors to pull this off, and then they crapped the bed. Like there's lots of good. If you look at this thing, look around who's in this thing. There's enough good actors in there to pull this out, and they just crap the bed. Yeah. Now I would say that's my positive. There's good people there to do something interesting, and they didn't do anything interesting with it.
Yeah, I think it looked fine. Even though like I guess 20-25 minutes in, I was just like, oh, this is made for TV. I mean, just the way it looked, the whole nine, I was like, this is made for TV. The other really interesting thing is this, right? So you're basically saying that the Terran Empire is going to come through that wormhole and just completely destroy Starfleet.
And the Romulans and the Klingons and everyone else is here. Like
the Terran Empire, really. And so Philippa, who used to rule the Terran Empire, she basically blew up like all of those ships that were coming in. They didn't show that though. They just showed the wormhole exploding, right? So I was like, okay, so they didn't have the money or the budget for that. So I was just like, again, I think the thing that's kind of positive for me was visually it looked good, even though it looked like a TV show. It looked like just something straight from CW or CBS.
It could have been something better, for sure.
Yeah.
Based on what they had, yes.
It could have been something better. It could have totally better because, again, what you're starting with here
Mhm.
Paramount Plus, CBS, Star Trek people. What you're starting out with is Section 31. Stop. Full
Mhm.
stop. Let's create a movie. Let's create a Star Trek movie based on Section 31. Dude, all the eggheads should be in a room like, dude, this is going to be crazy. This is Section 31. Let me say that again. This is
Mhm.
Section 31. There was a part, there was a season in Discovery, I think it was the third or fourth season, where it was all about Section 31 trying to destroy Starfleet, right? A whole
Mhm.
10, 14 episodes, right? Dude,
Mhm.
straight fire. These cats, I mean, Section 31, they take what they've stolen and placed in Daystrom Station to use on themselves to like create chaos. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
what is going on here? This was, oh my goodness. I'm completely disappointed. Again, I was falling asleep last night on this joint. It took me 2 hours. I was like, oh, let me rewind it back. I
I
fell
couldn't
asleep,
make
you
it,
know?
man. I tried. I couldn't. I normally I'd sit through. I couldn't
This,
do it. I got maybe 40 minutes into it, and I was like, "No, nah, I'm going to sleep, man.
yeah,
I'll watch this in the morning."
this
And then
is,
I was like, maybe I'll feel better about it in the morning because I'm tired. I came from a thing. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I'll feel better in the morning. I did not feel better in the morning. I was like,
no,
oh, this is worse.
this is
I'm
rough.
fully awake now. This is worse. Oh my gosh. I
Listen,
know normally I take notes and stuff. I put my pen down. I was like, I'm done.
no,
I can't.
yeah.
I can't do this.
We are talking about Star Trek Section 31. This is a new
Mm.
film on Paramount Plus. Keo, what are you going to rate this film?
I give this a 1. And it's a strong 1. And it could have
Woo!
been a 0, but I give it a 1. And the reason why is it could have been higher because the cast. It could have been higher because you were using this franchise that people love. I've been watching this franchise since I was a kid. All right, I know a lot about Star Trek as a casual. I know a lot about Star Trek, and I was like, "Oh, this is a blunder and a half." And I don't blame the actors. And I don't blame I blame Paramount a little bit, but I blame the directors and whoever's in charge of this show, this movie show. That's who I blame. They're responsible for this mess because I used to be interested in Section 31. I thought it'd be a great idea to see something about this behind the scenes covert operation. That's they got their thing is kind of shady about their dealings, but they have a good purpose overall. The
Mm-hmm.
reason what they're doing, but they're penning around the sidelines of what Federation is and what
No.
this thing means for the Federation. They're doing their own thing. That sounds interesting, especially because Federation is clear cut. Prime directive. Everything's down the middle of what the Star Trek is, what the Federation is, and these guys they're painting the corners, doing their own thing. That sounds interesting, but what in the world is this?
Dude,
I don't
listen,
know.
listen,
I
man.
I was I was mad. I was
Yeah,
saying when I
I was a
watched it,
little, yeah, I was a
I
little
was like,
upset for real.
dude,
Mm-hmm.
what is this? I can't. The tone was killing me, man. So
Yeah.
I give it a 1. I think this is the lowest rating I've ever given a thing in our review,
Mm-hmm.
and because I know enough to care about Star Trek, I give this a 1.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm also giving this a 1. This is the first time I've given any Star Trek thing like a 1, right?
That's fair.
It's really interesting because again, if you're going to Star Trek people, we know what
Mm,
Section 31 is, right? If someone
mm,
says, "Hey, we're going to make a Section 31 franchise," right? We know what it should be. It's not comedy. It's not today's music. It's not
mm.
like Vulcans laughing. It's not a Section 38, a Section 31 member in a mech suit who
Yeah, no,
who's like completely
before you
who's like.
finish,
Mhm.
I just this is pop. Why you're saying that just popped in my head. Section 31 would be the X Files in Star Trek. That's
There
what
you
it
go.
should have been, like that kind of thing. All right,
Yeah.
sorry. Go
There
ahead,
you go.
continue.
No, that's what I mean.
I'm
That's what I'm saying.
sorry.
No, no, dude, I'm glad you said that because they missed the mark, man. This was completely disappointing. It's
Mhm.
actually for Star Trek to say we're gonna make a Section 31 franchise and to give us this as the first one, it's kind of blasphemy. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost
Yes.
a lot of like Star Trek, people, because it's just like, I don't believe you're giving us this right here. I just don't believe that you're saying, hey, this is Section 31 Star Trek. And now we have a slapstick comedy here. You know, I'm just like, come on. And here's the other thing, right? Before we get up out of here, you got to get rid of Sam Richardson. You just have to get rid of him. You have to like when you come back.
Yeah, he dies first, right?
Right. You know, and here's the other thing, like the Section 31 people, like the black guy, I can't remember his name. When he was fighting, like I was like, yo, he's not even strong. You know, you got a laughing Vulcan, like, you know, just beating you down. I'm like, come on, dude. This is crazy, man. This is absolutely insane. This is blasphemy. Paramount Plus, CBS, this is blasphemy. If you come back with something else, which will probably be in another 2 or 3 years, it's got to be better. It's got to be better.
So, has to be better.
Yeah. We are talking about Star Trek Section 31. It's on Paramount Plus. Both myself and Keo gave this joint a 1.
1.
Go check it out.
or don't.
Or
it's
don't.
Up to you.
Exactly. Well, there you have it. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.
All right.